I pressed my hand against the study door. Elena's voice carried through the crack, soft but sharp. "Elena." Victor's voice came through the speaker of her phone. "I have the numbers," she whispered. "He trusts me. He leaves his files open. His projections are strong, but if you move first, you'll cripple him." My chest tightened. My fiancé was feeding my rival the veins of my company. Victor chuckled. "Perfect. You'll be rewarded for your loyalty. He'll never see it coming." I froze. My entire body wanted to storm in and tear the phone from her hand, but my legs locked. My ears burned as I forced myself to stay silent. Elena's tone softened. "Just keep your promise. Once Marcus is out of the picture, I want a seat by your side." I closed my eyes. Every vow she ever spoke to me shattered in that instant. The call ended. I stepped back quickly, slipping into the hallway. By the time I reached the living room, my hands were trembling. The front door clicked open. Elena entered, tossing her keys onto the marble counter. Her lips curved into the smile I once loved. She wore the dress I'd chosen for her last month, deep emerald silk clinging to her body. She walked toward me, heels tapping softly, and kissed my cheek. "You're still awake? I thought you'd be asleep by now." I forced my jaw to relax. "Couldn't sleep." She tilted her head. "You look tense. Work again?" My throat ached, but I kept my voice even. "Something like that." She slipped out of her coat, revealing the dress in its full elegance. She spun lightly, watching my eyes. "Do you like it?" "I wore it for you tonight." The knife twisted deeper. I smiled faintly. "It looks good." She moved closer, fingers brushing my tie. "I missed you. These dinners bore me without you. I wanted to pull away, but I let her touch linger. The scent of her perfume surrounded me, the same fragrance she wore the first night I told her I loved her. "The irony suffocated me, Elena," I said quietly. "Yes." "What would you do if I betrayed you?" She paused, then laughed softly. "That's a strange question." "I'd kill you." She leaned against my chest, smiling as if she'd just made a playful joke. My hands curled into fists behind her back. "Why ask that?" She whispered. "Just curious," I replied. She pressed her lips against my jawline. "You'd never betray me." "You're too good." I swallowed hard. Her lies dripped sweeter than honey. "Dinner?" she asked, stepping back. "I saved you dessert from the event. Chocolate soufflé. Your favorite?" I nodded, following her into the kitchen. The clatter of plates and the sound of her humming filled the space. I watched her move, every gesture graceful, every smile rehearsed. She placed the dish in front of me, eyes shining with affection. "Tell me about your day," she urged. My voice felt heavy. "The market was volatile. Numbers don't always stay loyal," she frowned. "You always sound so serious." "You'll ruin your health worrying like this, and you?" I asked, my eyes holding hers. "How was your evening?" Her lashes fluttered. "Routine. Drinks, small talk, nothing special." I almost laughed. Nothing special. Except selling my blood to the man waiting to destroy me. I lifted the spoon. Tasting the dessert she had carefully prepared, sweet, warm, poisonous in a different way. She sat across from me, chin resting in her hand. "You're quiet tonight, I'm thinking," I answered. "About what?" "About the future." Her lips curved into a softer smile. "Our future?" "Yes, our future." My words were steady, though. The storm inside me raged. She reached across the table, her fingers brushing mine. "I can't wait to marry you. Everything we've dreamed of will finally be ours." The heat of her hand burned against mine. I squeezed gently, hiding the disgust in my chest. "Everything we've dreamed of," I repeated. Her eyes sparkled with belief. Unaware that her dreams would soon collapse under the weight of mine, I excused myself after dessert. Walking back into my study, I closed the door, this time locking it. My laptop screen glowed as I pulled up files Elena thought I never cared to look at. Her company's finances were strained, bleeding under poor decisions, vulnerable, weak. I stared at the figures. And for the first time since I'd overheard her voice, my heart steadied. She thought she had me cornered. She thought she could sell my life's work too, Victor, and walk away unscathed. But Alina didn't know me as well as she believed. The betrayal cut me open. But it also gave me clarity. If she could sell me, I could buy her. I closed the laptop. The decision final. I whispered into the silence. You destroyed me tonight. Alina, tomorrow, I start destroying you. The chandeliers glimmered above me as I stepped into the gala hall with Alina on my arm. Cameras flashed, investors smiled, and the string quartet played as if the world were perfect. Alina leaned close to my ear, her lips brushing my skin. You look powerful tonight, she whispered. I forced a smile for the crowd. Do I? Her hand slid across my chest, fingers pausing on my tie. You always do. Everyone is watching us. Try to relax. Relax. She said it as if she hadn't sold me to my rival. I adjusted my cufflinks. You enjoy the attention more than I do. Her eyes sparkled as she tilted her head. Of course I do. You're mine. The words stung. Mine. Across the hall, I saw Victor. He raised a glass toward me, lips curved in triumph. My jaw clenched. Alina followed my gaze, then quickly pressed herself against me, her hand gripping my arm tightly. Smile, Marcus. If you glare, people will notice, she whispered. I turned to her. Then make me smile. She laughed softly, leaning into me as if I had just told her the most romantic joke. Always so serious. I'll keep you entertained, photographer approached. One picture of the happy couple? Alina pulled me close, pressing her body against mine as we faced the camera. Her perfume clouded my senses, sweet and suffocating. The flash went off, capturing a lie. She whispered through her smile, Don't look at him again. Tonight is about us. I leaned down slightly, my lips near her ear. No, Alina. Tonight is about the masks we wear. Her smile faltered, then returned quickly as another couple approached. Marcus. Alina, good to see you, an investor greeted. Alina lit up, her hand tightening around mine. We were just admiring the beauty of the evening. Marcus was saying how much he values all of you. I raised my glass with a polite nod. It's true. Partnerships built tonight will shape the future. Victor's voice cut in, smooth and sharp. And the future always favors those who act boldly. I turned, facing him. He stood tall, black suit sharp, his eyes locked on mine with smug recognition. Victor, I said evenly. Good to see you here. He extended his glass. Likewise. I didn't expect to find you so composed. You hide pressure well. I clinked my glass against his, holding his gaze. I thrive under pressure. Alina's grip on my arm tightened again, her smile fixed for the watching crowd. Victor glanced at her, his eyes lingering too long. Alina, stunning as always, you make quite the pair. Her laugh was light, but I felt the tension in her body. Thank you, Victor. It's easy when Marcus takes such good care of me. My blood boiled at the sound of her voice. She was playing both sides, and she thought I was blind. Victor smirked. Careful, Marcus. A woman like her can make or break an empire.
Ow.
I sipped my drink slowly. An empire built on shaky ground always collapses, no matter who stands beside it. His smirk tightened, but he said nothing more. He drifted away into the crowd, leaving a trail of arrogance behind him. Alina turned to me, whispering sharply, What was that? Why provoke him here? Was I provoking him? I asked, my voice calm. You know you were, she hissed. You can't afford enemies right now. I stared down at her. I already have them, she blinked, lips parting, but before she could respond, another investor pulled her into polite conversation. I stepped back, watching her laugh and charm the room. Every smile she gave was calculated. Every touch on my arm was staged. And yet, the crowd believed every second of it. When the music shifted into a waltz, Alina returned to me, eyes gleaming. Dance with me. Placed my hand on her waist, leading her to the floor. The lights softened, couples circling us. Her body pressed close against mine as the violins carried us. You're stiff, she whispered. Relax, they're watching. I'm watching too, I replied. She tilted her head, eyes meeting mine. What do you see? A woman who knows exactly how to play her role. Her lips curved, though her eyes flickered. And what role are you playing, Marcus? I pulled her slightly closer, enough for the crowd to sigh at the romance, but my voice was cold. The one you wrote for me. She drew in a sharp breath, but quickly laughed, tilting her head back as if I'd said something charming as the music swelled. I spun her gracefully, then caught her firmly against me. Her hands clutched my shoulders, and for a brief second, her mask cracked. Fear flashed across her eyes. I whispered so only she could hear. I know more than you think. Her lips parted, but the applause ended the dance. I released her hand and bowed slightly. Investors clapped politely, admiring the picture of perfection we created. Alina smiled, but her grip on me had lost its certainty. We returned to the table. She leaned close again, her voice trembling just enough for me to hear. What do you know? I sipped my drink, letting the silence stretch. Enough. She leaned in further, nails grazing my arm through the fabric of my suit. If you know, why stay? Why pretend? I turned to her, my lips inches from hers, but my eyes cold. Because I can play this game better than you, her breath caught. You wouldn't dare. I smiled faintly, raising my glass as if to toast. Watch me. The clinking of glasses around the room masked the sound of her sharp inhale. The night continued with laughter, music, and lies, but the war had already begun, and for the first time since her betrayal, I felt in control. Asterisk. The glow of my laptop lit the dark study. Numbers scrolled across the screen, Elena's company shares trading low, almost begging to be bought. I clicked, confirming another purchase, each one pulling the ground further out from under her. The bedroom door creaked open. Marcus, her voice carried through the hall. You're still awake? I closed the screen halfway. Just a few things I needed to finish. She appeared at the doorway in silk nightwear, pale fabric clinging to her like water. She leaned against the frame, arms folded loosely, pretending casual but her eyes searching. You never rest, she said softly. Do you ever think about how much you're carrying on your shoulders? I smiled faintly. Do you? She stepped closer, the silk brushing along her legs. Of course I do. That's why I'm here. To ease the weight for you. I watched her move toward me, the scent of jasmine filling the air. She perched on the arm of my chair, close enough for her thigh to press against my arm. Marcus, she whispered, placing a hand on my chest. I hate seeing you like this. You're distant, cold. Tell me what's wrong. I tilted my head toward her hand. Maybe I'm just tired. Her lips brushed my jawline. Then let me wake you up. She kissed me lightly, testing. My body stiffened, but I didn't push her away. Her mouth lingered, searching for warmth. But every touch reminded me of the phone call I overheard. Alina, I said quietly. Yes. She breathed against my skin. You've been stressed too. She pulled back slightly, blinking. I have the company is suffocating me. The investors are restless. They keep demanding miracles I can't give. I feel like I'm drowning. I placed my hand on hers, steady but detached. You'll manage. You always do. Her eyes flickered with desperation. I need you, Marcus. You keep me strong. I nodded slowly. I'm here. She exhaled in relief, leaning her head against my shoulder. Say that again? I'm here. She closed her eyes, breathing me in. That's all I need to hear. Inside, I felt the cruel irony. While she confessed her dependence, I was quietly pulling the strings of her company into my control. Her strength came from me, and soon, everything else would too. Her hands slipped lower, fingers tracing my arm. Why do you feel so far away even when you're holding me? I lifted her chin with my fingers. Do I? Yes, she whispered, eyes shimmering. It feels like you're fading. I kissed her lightly, enough to convince her, not enough to convince myself. I'm not fading. I'm right here. Her lips curved into a fragile smile. Then prove it. She pressed her mouth firmly against mine, her body sliding into my lap, silk clinging between us. The kiss deepened, but all I tasted was betrayal. I kept my hand steady, my face calm, but my heart was stone. When she pulled back, she searched my eyes. "Do you love me?" The question pierced. I forced my voice to stay even. "I chose you, didn't I?" Her smile returned, shaky but hopeful. "That's enough for me." She rested her forehead against mine, whispering, "We'll get through this. Both of us. Together." I stroked her hair gently. Together. Her breathing slowed as she drifted against me, lulled by the lie. My laptop screen glowed faintly from the desk. Documents open, her company's lifeline bleeding into my possession. Each file, each signature, each silent purchase was a dagger she didn't feel yet. Her body relaxed in my arms, but her trust was the very weakness that would ruin her. The colder I became, the more she clung to me, and as I watched her sleep against my chest, I knew the first strike had already landed. She had no idea the enemy she feared most was the man she was holding on to for comfort. Asterisk, the headline on my phone felt like a knife pressed to my throat. Rumors surround financial stability of Marcus Hale Technologies. Victor's fingerprints were all over it. I tightened my grip on the phone until my knuckles whitened. The living room lights glowed softly, casting Elena's shadow against the wall. She walked toward me in her silk robe, her glass of wine swaying gently. "What's wrong, love?" she asked, tilting her head with that practiced concern. "Nothing. Just the usual pressure," I said, setting the phone face down on the table. Her eyes narrowed. "You look like you're about to explode. Talk to me. I'm here." I forced a bitter laugh. "Here, always? Marcus, of course. Who else do you think is on your side?" she said, curling onto the couch beside me, pressing her leg against mine. I turned away, rubbing my forehead. The board's nervous. Investors panic over rumors. "If this gets out of hand, we could lose millions." Her voice softened, almost too soft. "You'll fix it. You always do." I glanced at her. "You sound very sure." She placed her head against my chest, her perfume heavy, intoxicating, suffocating. "Because I know you. Stronger than anyone. Smarter than all of them." I listened not to her words, but to the rhythm of her heartbeat. It wasn't steady. It raced, skipping like a guilty drum. "You don't seem scared," I whispered. Her lips brushed my jaw. "I don't waste fear on things that can't touch us." "Us." She lifted her face to mine, eyes shining. "Yes. Us." I cupped her cheek, nodding slowly, hiding the storm building inside me. "Then you'll stay by me, no matter what happens?" "Always." Her kiss was slow, rehearsed, filled with a sweetness that tasted like poison. I let her lips linger, though every second felt like betrayal carved into my skin. When she pulled away, she whispered, "Rest tonight. Tomorrow will be better." I faked a tired smile. "Maybe you're right." Minutes later, she drifted to sleep beside me on the couch, her hand draped across my chest like a chain. I carefully slid out from under her touch and stood. The study door closed behind me with a quiet click. I turned on the desk lamp and laid out the documents. The shares. The silent takeover. Every paper already signed, waiting only for my hand to seal the final deal. Her company. Her pride. Her identity. I picked up the pen, staring at my name on the dotted line. For a moment, my hand trembled. Then I remembered the phone call. Her whispering Victor's name with my numbers spilling from her lips. My jaw locked. My signatures slashed across the page. When the ink dried, so did the last of my hesitation. Tomorrow, she would wake up, believing she owned the world. And tomorrow, she would discover it now belonged to me. I leaned back in the chair, closing my eyes for a second. My chest rose with a quiet breath, but no peace came. Only fire. From the hallway, I heard her soft voice. "Marcus." I straightened, hiding the papers in a drawer. "In here," I called back. She appeared in the doorway, sleepy hair falling in dark waves. "What are you doing?" "Work. Go back to sleep." She patted closer, her robe falling slightly open at her collarbone. "At this hour? Crisis doesn't wait for daylight," said with a faint smile. She wrapped her arms around my shoulders from behind, pressing her cheek against my hair. "Then let me be your light." I forced my hand to stay still on the desk. "You already are." She kissed the side of my neck. "Promise me you won't drown in this. I don't want to lose you to your empire." I turned in my chair, pulling her gently onto my lap, masking the venom behind my eyes with a practiced warmth. "You won't lose me." Her lips parted, her breath brushing mine. "Good. Because without you, I'm nothing." I kissed her once, slow, deliberate, feeling her melt against me. Her dependence was her weakness. She didn't know it yet, but I would use every fragile piece of it to bring her down. "Sleep," I whispered. Stroking her hair, she nodded and slid off my lap, shuffling back toward the bedroom as the door closed behind her. I opened the drawer again and touched the fresh ink of my signature Victor wanted war. Alina thought she was playing me, but I had already claimed the battlefield, and the next move was mine. The restaurant lights glowed low, candles flickering between us, casting shadows across her face. The soft hum of other diners faded into nothing. To me, the room might as well have been empty. Alina smiled, leaning forward, her hand brushing mine. "You've been quiet all evening. Something on your mind?" I stared at her, watching the way her lips curved, practiced and perfect. I pulled the small velvet box from my jacket and set it between us on the table. Her eyes widened. "Marcus," she whispered, her hand covering her mouth. "Here, tonight?" I slid the box across the white linen tablecloth. My voice was steady, sharper than the knife beside my plate. "Open it." Her fingers trembled as she lifted the lid. The diamond caught the candlelight, gleaming like fire. She gasped softly. "It's beautiful. But why?" "We're already engaged." "Exactly," I said, leaning closer. "That's not a proposal. That's a full stop." Her smile faltered. "I don't understand." I kept my gaze locked on hers. "I know." She blinked rapidly, shaking her head. "Know what?" "Everything." The wine glass slipped from her hand, crashing against the table's edge before spilling down her silk dress. Red spread across the fabric, thick and dark, seeping like blood. She froze, staring at me, lips parted. "Marcus, what are you talking about?" I didn't blink. "Victor, the calls. My numbers. My company's lifeblood pouring out of your mouth into his ear." Her breath caught. No, you're wrong, am I?" I asked quietly. "Do you want me to play the recordings for you? Do you want me to read the transcripts right here in front of the candles?" Her face drained of color. She reached for my hand across the table, nails digging into my skin. "Marcus, please, listen. I didn't mean." I pulled my hand away, slow, deliberate. "Didn't mean you betrayed me, sold me, lied to my face and kissed me after you handed my secrets to the man who wants to burn me alive." Tears welled in her eyes, sliding down her cheeks. I was scared. "Victor promised he could protect me if things with your company collapsed. I didn't want to lose everything. I didn't want to lose us." My voice broke into a cold laugh. "There was no us the moment you picked up that phone." Her chair scraped the floor as she leaned forward, desperation pouring from her. "Marcus, I love you. I was stupid. I didn't think it through. I thought I could keep you safe. I thought you could play both sides." I cut in, my voice sharp enough to draw blood. Her lip quivered. "Please, I made a mistake, but I never stopped loving you." I slid the ring box closer to her, pushing it against her hands. "You want this ring? You want this life? You already traded it away." She clutched the box, shaking her head violently. "No, don't do this. Don't throw us away." "You can't." I leaned across the table, my voice low, every word like venom. "You sold me. Now I bought you." Her eyes widened. "What? What do you mean?" I stood, placing money on the table, ignoring the way her voice trembled. "You'll find out soon enough." She grabbed my wrist, nails biting into my skin. "Marcus, please, I'll fix it. I'll do anything. Don't walk away." I looked down at her, my shadow falling across her trembling figure, her dress ruined, her eyes pleading. You already lost me the moment you chose him. Remember that. Her grip loosened as I pulled free. I walked out of the restaurant, leaving her in the wreckage of spilled wine and shattered lies. Outside, the night air hit me like ice, but inside my chest, fire roared. The city lights blurred as I stepped into the waiting car. Through the glass doors, I caught one last glimpse of her, still seated, shaking, clutching the ring box like it was a lifeline she had already drowned beneath. For the first time in weeks, I let myself breathe. The game had shifted, and I was done playing nice. Asterisk. The glass doors swung open, and Alina stormed inside, heels striking the marble floor like gunshots. Her eyes locked on me before she even reached her office. I was already sitting in her chair. The entire staff froze, watching from their desks. Phones hung midair, conversations cut short. Eyes darting between her fury and my calm, she stopped in the doorway, breath sharp. "Marcus, what the hell are you doing in my office?" I leaned back, folding my hands on the desk. Our office. Her brows knitted together. "No, this is mine." I stood slowly, turning toward the open door so every employee could hear. "Not anymore. As of this morning, controlling shares belong to me, which means I own this company. And you, Alina, work for me." A murmur spread across the floor. People tried to look busy, but their stares burned holes into her. She slammed the door shut and hissed, "Can't humiliate me in front of them like that." I met her glare without blinking. That was the polite version, her fists clenched. "You're lying. This is some twisted punishment because of what happened at dinner." I slid a stack of signed documents across her desk. "See for yourself." She skimmed the pages, her hand shaking. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. "Sit," I said. Her head snapped up. "Excuse me?" "Sit down. We have work to do." Her jaw tightened, but she lowered herself into the chair opposite me. For the first time, she looked small in this room. I paced slowly, letting silence stretch until it snapped. This company has been bleeding for months. Investors pulling out. Designs failing to hit market. You begged Victor for help and he used you. But now, you're mine to save. Her voice cracked. "This is my company, Marcus. You can't just take it." I turned, eyes locking with hers. "I didn't take it. I bought it. Just like you sold me." She flinched. I leaned closer, my hand pressing flat against the desk. "From now on, every project goes through me. Every launch, every event, every board meeting, you answer to me." Her breath shook. "You can't expect me to just bow down." "I don't expect you to bow," I said, lowering my voice until it curled against her ear. "I expect you to stand beside me and pretend you're loyal. That's your punishment." She shivered and looked away. "This is cruel, Nolina. Cruel is whispering secrets to my rival while lying in my bed. This is justice." The phone on her desk buzzed. I picked it up before she could. "Yes, send the team in." She shot me a panicked look. "No, not now." But it was too late. The door opened, and half a dozen employees filed in, holding laptops and portfolios. They stopped short when they saw me at the head of the room. "Good morning," I said smoothly. "From today, I'll be overseeing operations. Alina will remain by my side as executive liaison. Let's begin." Every head nodded. Nobody dared question it. I gestured for Alina to stand beside me. She hesitated, then rose slowly, her cheeks flushed as all eyes turned to her. One of the managers cleared his throat. "Shall we start with the upcoming Fashion Week launch?" "Yes," I said. "Alina, take notes." Her eyes widened. "What?" "You heard me." "Notes." The room went silent. She forced a smile and picked up a pen, lowering herself into the seat beside me. Her hand shook as she wrote. I spoke through the meeting, outlining strategies, restructuring budgets, directing every detail. And each time I gave an order, I watched her scribble it down. When the team finally left, she threw the pen onto the table. "You humiliated me." I shrugged. "No." I reminded them who's in charge. "You enjoyed that?" she spat. I met her gaze. I did. She crossed her arms, chest rising with sharp breaths. You want me to hate you? I stepped closer, close enough to feel her breath on my jaw. I want you to understand what it feels like to be powerless. The way you made me feel. Our lips parted. For a heartbeat, silence charged the air between us, heavy and dangerous. Then she whispered, You still want me? I can see it. I smiled coldly. Wanting you and trusting you are not the same. Her eyes searched mine, desperate. If you really hated me, you wouldn't be standing this close. I let the tension hang, my hand brushing the edge of her chair as I leaned in. Maybe I don't hate you enough yet. Her breath hitched, her body leaning ever so slightly toward me before she caught herself and pushed back. You're playing with fire. I straightened, my smile sharp. Good. Let it burn. I walked out, leaving her trembling in the chair that no longer belonged to her. The office outside fell silent as I passed. Every employee, pretending not to watch, the door clicked shut behind me. And I knew the war between us had only just begun. The office was quiet after hours, the city lights painting the glass walls in shades of gold and blue. My jacket hung on the chair, sleeves rolled up, papers spread across the desk. I heard the door click before I saw her. Still working? Elena's voice carried a softness, too careful, like she wanted to disarm me. I didn't look up. Someone has to keep this place alive. She walked closer, her heels tapping against the polished floor. She placed a folder in front of me, leaning just far enough that her perfume wrapped around me. These are the figures from the design team. I thought you'd want them tonight. I flipped the folder open, scanning numbers I already knew. You could have left them on my desk.
Oh, really?
Her lips curved slightly. But then I wouldn't see you? I raised my eyes. You're supposed to be working, not watching me. I am working, she said, her voice lower now. But maybe I'm allowed to notice you too. I pushed the folder back toward her. You're testing me. She tilted her head, her hair falling across her shoulder. And if I am? I stood, moving around the desk, brushing past her just enough that my hand grazed hers. She inhaled sharply, but didn't step back. You forget something, I whispered near her ear. You work for me now. Her eyes flickered. But instead of retreating, she smirked. Then maybe you should tell me what to do. Heat surged in my chest, sharp and unwanted. I took a step closer, closing the space until I could see the pulse racing at her throat. You're playing with fire, I said. And you're still standing close enough to get burned, she replied, her breath brushing against my jaw. For a moment, silence filled the room, heavy and dangerous. Her lips hovered inches from mine. My hand lifted, almost without thought, fingers brushing her chin. She leaned in. I froze. The memory of her voice whispering to Victor cracked through me. The lies, the betrayal. I pulled back suddenly, breaking the moment. No, you don't get that from me anymore. Her eyes darkened, but instead of looking ashamed, she smiled faintly. So close, Marcus. You almost did. I turned away, gripping the edge of the desk to steady myself. Don't confuse proximity with forgiveness. She stepped closer again, her hand grazing my sleeve. Maybe I don't want forgiveness. Maybe I just want you to admit you still feel something. I looked over my shoulder, my voice low and sharp. I feel the knife you left in my back. She flinched, finally breaking eye contact. For a second I thought I'd won. But then she laughed softly, bitter and knowing. If you hated me as much as you claim, you wouldn't be fighting this hard to resist me. Her words landed like a challenge, curling around my thoughts. I walked to the door and opened it. Go home, Elena. We start again at 9, she lingered, watching me with eyes that dared me to admit what I refused. Then, with a faint smirk, she picked up her bag. Good night, Marcus. When the door closed behind her, the silence was louder than before. I sank back into the chair, running a hand over my face. She was right. I was resisting, which meant somewhere inside I still wanted, and that was more dangerous than anything Victor could ever do. Asterisk, the bar was dim. Music low enough to drown thoughts, but not words. Victor slid into the seat across from me like he owned the place. His grin spread slow, deliberate, as if he had been waiting for this moment. "Marcus," he said, raising his glass. "You've done the impossible. You put her on a leash." My jaw clenched. "What do you want, Victor? Want?" He laughed softly, leaning closer. "I want to make your life easier. You've got Alina breathing the same air as you day and night. That must be exhausting. Why not let me take her off your hands?" I gripped my glass tighter. "She's not yours to take," smirked. "She was never yours either. Do you think a woman like that changes?" "She whispers to me, Marcus. Sweet little things, like she used to do to you. She plays both sides. She always has," as the blood pounded in my ears. "You're lying." He tilted his head. "Am I, or do you already know it's true?" I slammed my drink down. "If you're here to provoke me, you've succeeded." Victor laughed again, unbothered. "Relax. I'm giving you a chance. Let her come back to me. You focus on your empire, and I'll handle her. She stays exactly where she is," I snapped. He studied me, eyes narrowing. "You still want her. That's the problem. Even after what she did, you want her. You think she'll stay loyal because you're holding the strings, but men like us know better. Women like her never change." My fists tightened on the table. "Get out." Victor rose slowly, savoring every second. "One day you'll thank me for offering. When she ruins you again, remember this moment." He left me there with the taste of poison in my mouth. Later that night, I sat in my office with another drink, the city lights blurring outside the window. My chest burned with anger. I hated Victor, but I hated the doubt he planted even more. The door creaked open. Elena's voice was soft. "You're drinking alone." I didn't turn. "Go home. I came to talk. You always come to talk when you want something." She stepped closer, her heels clicking against the floor. "Not tonight." I finally looked at her. Her eyes were red, rimmed with tears. No perfume, no armor, just Alina stripped bare in a way I had not seen before. "What game is this?" I asked. She shook her head. "It's not a game. I can't keep pretending. I made mistakes, Marcus. I thought I knew what I wanted. I was wrong. You were wrong when you betrayed me. Or wrong now while you're standing here crying?" Her lips trembled. "Both." I laughed bitterly. "You expect me to believe this?" Her voice cracked. "I regret everything." I rose from my chair and crossed the room until I was inches from her. "Regret doesn't erase what you did." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "I know." I reached out and wiped them roughly with my thumb. Not gentle, not kind. "Do you think crying makes you human again? Do you think it makes me forget?" She didn't flinch. "No, I don't expect forgiveness. I just needed you to know I can't stand this anymore. Working for you. Facing you every day. Feeling what I feel." My chest tightened against my will. "And what do you feel?" Her eyes locked on mine, unblinking. "That I still love you." For a moment the world froze. Her breath mingled with mine, her words burning hotter than fire. I wanted to push her away. I wanted to crush my mouth against hers. Instead, I stepped back. "You don't get to say that." She reached for my hand, desperate. "Marcus, please. I don't want Victor. I don't want anyone. Only you." Her fingers grazed mine, trembling. The heat of her skin sent a shiver up my arm. I pulled away. "You think I'll fall again? That's what you're hoping for." Her voice broke. "No, I'm hoping you'll see I'm not lying." I laughed without humor. "You've lied so many times, you can't tell the difference anymore." She looked down, tears dripping onto the carpet. "Then why did you wipe my tears?" The question sliced through me. I had no answer. She stepped closer. "Because you still care. No matter how much you fight it." I felt the pull again, stronger than before. I wanted her. God, I wanted her. But Victor's words echoed in my skull. She whispers to me. She plays both sides. I grabbed her chin and forced her to meet my eyes. "If you ever play me again, I'll destroy you." Didn't blink. "Then destroy me now, because I can't stop loving you." Her lips hovered near mine, trembling, begging. I wanted to close the distance. I wanted to break. Instead, I shoved her hand off me and turned away. Get out. She stood there in silence. I could feel her eyes on my back. Then I heard the soft click of the door as she left. The room felt heavier without her, the air thicker. I poured another drink, but it did nothing to wash away her voice. I hate her. I want her. And maybe, just maybe, she knows she's winning. The meeting ended in chaos. Voices clashed, papers scattered, and I slammed the folder shut harder than I intended. Alina stood across the table, her hands clenched, her face flushed with fury. You made me look like a fool in front of them, she snapped. You did that yourself, I shot back. You weren't prepared and you expect me to cover your mistakes? Not anymore. Her chest rose and fell fast. You're enjoying this? Every correction, every humiliation, you're enjoying breaking me. I leaned forward. You broke me first. Silence hit the room like a storm. Her eyes glistened, and she shoved her chair back so hard it scraped against the floor. You think Victor meant anything to me? You think I loved him? I stood too, my voice sharp. You chose him, her voice cracked. I was scared. Scared of losing you. Scared of how much I needed you. He offered me safety. That's all it ever was. I scoffed. Safety? You threw away love for safety? Her face twisted. Don't you dare talk about love when you've done nothing but punish me. I punish because you deserve it, I growled. She slammed her hands on the desk. And I take it because I can't walk away from you. The words hit harder than I expected. I froze. Her voice dropped, trembling but fierce. I never loved him, Marcus. Not 1 second. Every smile I gave him was a mask because the only person I wanted was you. I shook my head. You expect me to believe that after everything? Her eyes burned. Yes, because it's the truth. She rounded the table fast, her heels clicking like a heartbeat. Before I could move, she shoved me against the wall, her face inches from mine. Look at me, she demanded. I am looking. No, she said, her breath hot against my lips. You're hiding behind anger because you're afraid of what you feel. But I know. I see it every time you look at me. I pressed my palms against the wall to keep from touching her. Get out of my way. Say you don't want me. I don't, her eyes flared. Liar. Her lips crashed onto mine before I could stop her. It's desperate, raw, full of guilt and fire. My hands clenched into fists, but my mouth betrayed me. Responding for one stolen heartbeat before I shoved her back, I wiped my lips with the back of my hand, breathing hard. Don't ever do that again. She touched her mouth, her voice trembling. You kissed me back. I lost control. You always lose control with me. I glared at her. You're poison. Her eyes filled with tears. She stepped closer again, softer this time. Then let me be poison. Hate me. Punish me. Do anything you want to me, but don't ignore me. Her hand brushed my chest. My pulse thundered beneath her palm. You think I can just forget? I said. I don't want you to forget, she whispered. I want you to remember everything, even the pain, because it proves we were real. I grabbed her wrist and pulled it away, holding it tight. You don't get to rewrite history with one kiss. She stared at me, defiant even through her tears. That kiss wasn't history. That was now. That was me choosing you. Her words sank deep, leaving me torn apart. My lips still burned from the taste of her. I hated that I wanted more. You'll destroy me again, I said quietly. Then let me, she whispered, because I'll go down with you. I let go of her wrists and stepped back, my heart racing. The fire in her eyes told me she believed every word. And that terrified me more than her betrayal ever did. The boardroom lights glared down on us like interrogation lamps. Victor sat across the table, smug as ever. But his smirk faltered when I slid the dossier across. Your numbers don't add up, I said. Victor leaned back in his chair. Creative accounting, Marcus. You know how it is? Elena's voice cut in sharp. No, this is fraud. He raised an eyebrow at her. So you're his little soldier now? I remember when you whispered to me about his weaknesses. Funny how loyalty changes when the power shifts. Her jaw tightened, but she didn't flinch. The only thing that changed was realizing what kind of snake you are. Victor laughed, low and mocking. Careful, Elena. Betrayal looks ugly on you, asked Marcus. I stood, leaning over the table. We're done here. You have 72 hours to explain this to the shareholders before we take it public. His smirk returned. You'll regret this. Not as much as you will, I said. He left without another word, and the silence that followed was suffocating. Elena turned to me, her voice softer. He won't go quietly. I don't expect him to, I replied. That's why you're going to give me everything you know about him. She hesitated. And if I do, then maybe we both survive this. Later that night, the office was empty except for us. Spreadsheets and legal files covered the table, coffee cups stacked like battle scars. She leaned close, pointing at a document. Her perfume wrapped around me again. Here, she said, tracing a line with her finger. These shell companies are all tied back to Victor. If we expose them, the board will turn on him. I followed her hand, my shoulder brushing hers. You held this back before? Why show me now? She looked at me, eyes tired but burning. Because I'm done lying to you? If I keep protecting him, I lose everything. And I've already lost enough. I searched her face for cracks, but all I saw was exhaustion and something close to regret. So this isn't another game? Her lips curved faintly. If it was, you'd already know the rules. We worked until midnight, arguing over strategies, snapping at each other, then falling into tense silences. At one point, her hand brushed mine when she passed me a file. Neither of us pulled away instantly. You trust me enough to fight beside me, she whispered. But not enough to believe I'm telling the truth. I met her eyes. Trust is poison with you. Her expression didn't change, but her voice cracked. Then let me drink it with you. I pushed back from the table, needing distance. This alliance ends when Victor falls. After that, you and I are done. She nodded, but her gaze lingered. You keep saying that, yet here we are. The next morning, Victor walked into the shareholder meeting with his usual swagger. But when I presented the evidence, slide after slide of his hidden accounts, the room turned against him. Elena stood at my side, answering questions with precision, her voice steady. Victor's face hardened. You think this makes you the hero, Marcus? You and Elena partners now. You'll rip each other apart before you ever win. I leaned into the microphone. Maybe, but today we ripped you apart. The vote was unanimous. Victor was finished when the meeting ended. The applause of the shareholders still echoing, Elena turned to me in the corridor. Her hand brushed mine again, deliberate this time. We did it, she whispered. I pulled my hand away. I did it. Her lips parted, but she didn't argue. Instead, she leaned in close, her voice so low only I could hear. You can tell yourself that, but you know the truth. We win together, or not at all. I stared at her, torn between hatred, gratitude, and the dangerous pull I couldn't shake. She was my enemy, my prisoner, and the ghost of my lover all at once. And the closer we got to victory, the harder it became to decide which one she truly was. The office was quiet for the first time in months. Victor was gone, his name shredded in headlines, his power dismantled. The glass walls reflected only us now. Elena stood on one side of the room, her arms wrapped around herself like she was cold. Though the air was warm, she spoke first. It's over. I didn't answer. She tried again, her voice softer. We won. We. I walked closer, my steps echoing against the marble floor. You still think there's a we? Her eyes flicked to mine, and then away. You're right. There's no we. Not anymore. But you're standing here, aren't you? You didn't walk out after the meeting. I stayed because unfinished business keeps me here, I said. Her lips trembled. Then finish it. I stopped in front of her. Why did you do it? She exhaled, shaking her head as if the truth physically hurt. Because I was scared. Because I thought, if I had power of my own, you wouldn't leave me behind. Because every time I watched you grow, I felt myself disappearing. I laughed, but it was hollow. So you sold me to Victor? That's how you kept me? Her voice cracked. No, I told myself it was temporary. I thought I could take from him and still protect you. But Victor never stops. He pushed. He threatened. He said he'd destroy you if I didn't help him. I chose wrong. I stared at her, every word slicing through the anger I had built like armor. You didn't just choose wrong. You chose him over me. She stepped forward, eyes glistening. I chose fear over love, and I lost both. Silence sat between us. She broke it first. I'm not asking you to forget. I'm asking you to see me now. Everything I built is gone. The company you own was my dream. I'm standing here because there's nowhere else left to go. You still have a choice, I said. You can walk out. Start over somewhere else. Her voice shook. And what if I don't want to walk out? Then what do you want? You. The word hung there. I stepped closer until I could see every tear trembling at the edge of her lashes. You want forgiveness? She nodded once. I want to earn it. Tell me how. I searched her face for deception, but all I saw was a kind of nakedness I hadn't seen before. You can't earn forgiveness. You can only ask for it. And even then, it's not mine to give easily. Her breath hitched. Then ask me anything else. Punish me. Hate me. But don't shut me out. You're asking me to open the door you locked yourself out of, I said. Her voice dropped to a whisper. I know. She reached out, her fingers brushing mine, hesitant. Marcus, I loved you. I still do. I betrayed you, and I can't undo it. But I'm here now. You're the only person who's ever seen me even when I was lying. I felt my chest tighten. The part of me that had plotted her downfall wanted to push her hand away. The part of me that remembered the woman I once held wanted to pull her closer. I took a step back instead. Love isn't a shield. It's a choice. You broke it. Her tears slid down her face now, quiet and relentless. I know. We stood there, the city lights pouring through the glass, casting long shadows on the floor. She took one more step toward me. Then let me make a new choice, she said softly. Let me stand beside you again, not behind you. Let me rebuild what I broke, shook my head. You don't get to decide that anymore. She reached up, touching my face with trembling fingers. Then decide for me. I caught her wrist gently and lowered it. I already have. She looked at me, eyes wide. What do you mean? I held her gaze. You re-free? You can stay. You can go, but you're not mine. Not yet. Her lips parted. Not yet? I leaned in just enough for her to feel my breath, but not my lips. Forgiveness isn't a word. It's a price. And I'm not sure you're ready to pay it. She swallowed hard. Then tell me how. Show me, I whispered. With your actions, with your truth, not with another kiss. Her eyes flicked down to my mouth, then back up. And if I kissed you anyway? I stepped back. Then you'd prove you haven't changed. She blinked, a tear sliding down her cheek. You're cruel. No, I said quietly. I'm finally honest. She lowered her head, her voice barely audible. Then I'll wait. I'll prove it. I'll show you I'm not the same woman. I turned away from her and looked out at the city. Maybe you will, or maybe you won't. But until then, she stepped closer behind me, so close I could feel the heat of her body, but not her touch. Until then, I turned my head slightly, just enough for my voice to reach her without looking at her. Not yet. She gasped softly, but said nothing. For a long moment, neither of us moved. The office that had once been a battlefield now felt like a church, silent and heavy with confessions. She stood there, trembling, caught between regret and hope. I stood facing the city, caught between vengeance and forgiveness. And for the first time, the power didn't feel intoxicating anymore. It felt like a weight. Asterisk. The boardroom was alive with flashing cameras and murmurs. I saw only her, Alina. Her heels clicked softly against the floor as she took her seat beside me. I could feel the heat from her body, even through the polished wood table. Ladies and gentlemen, I said, my voice steady and calm. Today marks a new chapter, reporters scribbled. Snapped, and whispered, but I ignored them. I looked at Elena, her fingers brushing the edge of the table, nervous but composed. She caught my gaze, and for a second, it felt like the old days. "Marcus," she whispered, leaning just slightly toward me. "Are you sure about this?" I tilted my head, keeping my voice even. "Absolutely. I earned this. You helped me, but make no mistake, the throne is mine." Her lips curved in a faint, knowing smile. "I've always known you'd take it. Even when I tried to stop you?" I chuckled softly, the sound low, controlled. "You underestimated me, just like Victor did. But unlike him, I finish what I start." The cameras captured the handshake, the signature, the announcement of my control over her company. Victor was gone, his schemes exposed, and every shareholder knew the truth. Elena's face remained neutral, but her eyes betrayed the storm inside. After the press left and the room emptied, silence fell. The only sound was the distant hum of the city outside. I leaned back in my chair, savoring the victory. "You look different," she said softly, finally allowing herself to breathe. "I'm not the same man you've sold," I replied, watching her reaction carefully. Her hand moved, brushing against mine. The contact was electric, intimate, but restrained. "And yet you're still the same man She swallowed. "The man I wanted." Didn't answer immediately. The weight of months of betrayal, revenge, and tension hung between us. Finally I said, "You're dangerous, and I should push you away." She laughed lightly, almost a tease. "And yet you don't." "No," I admitted, my hand now covering hers. "Because you are part of my life in a way no one else can be. Even after everything, you're unforgettable." Her eyes softened, and I could see the vulnerability I'd never allowed myself to notice before. "I'll wait," she said quietly, "for whatever you decide. Whether as your rival, your partner, or something else." I tightened my grip gently. "And what if I never decide?" "Then I wait," she replied, unflinching, "because I know you'll eventually realize it. I've been wrong in the past, but not this time. I'll stand beside you, even if it's in the shadows." The words cut deeper than I expected. She wasn't begging. She wasn't pleading. She was offering herself honestly, finally unmasked. "You've changed," I said, letting a hint of admiration slip through my controlled exterior. "And I suppose I've changed too. Maybe for the first time, we're equals." "Equals?" she asked, a small laugh escaping her. "Yes," I said, holding her gaze. "You'll always be unpredictable, but that's what makes you unforgettable." For a long moment, neither of us moved. My hand remained over hers, the simple touch, loaded with history, desire, restraint. "You've built your empire," she whispered, "but don't let it cost you your heart. Not again." I leaned back in the chair, studying her. "And what if I don't want to protect it? What if I want to let it burn?" Her eyes widened slightly, but she didn't move away. "Then I'll be here," she said, voice steady, "watching, waiting, because maybe I can help you rebuild it, or watch you destroy it. Either way, I'm here." I smiled darkly, the kind of smile that comes from knowing you've won a battle, but the war inside you is far from over. "You've always been fearless, Elena. I can't decide if that's your greatest strength or your biggest weakness." She leaned closer, her shoulder brushing mine. "Maybe both," she said, her voice soft, intimate, and dangerous. I turned to her fully, catching her hand between mine. "Maybe it's why I can't walk away from you. Not now, not ever. You've destroyed me and rebuilt me all at once." Her fingers flexed in mine. "And you still hold the throne," she whispered, her breath warm against my ear. I looked at her then, really looked. The woman who betrayed me, manipulated me, seduced me, and yet remained loyal in ways only I could see, was still a mystery. Enemy, partner, or something deeper I didn't know. But the pull between us was undeniable. I let the silence stretch, filled with the tension of months of chaos, betrayal, and unexpected loyalty. Then I said quietly, "The throne may be mine, but the heart. The heart is still a battlefield." She pressed her hand lightly to mine, not needing words. I didn't move away. The connection was a truce and a warning all at once. "You've claimed the company," she whispered, "but will you ever claim me?" I tilted my head, the faintest smile on my lips. "Maybe one day. But for now, you wait." And so do I. We sat there together in the quiet office, the city lights shimmering around us. The empire was mine, the enemy defeated, and the woman who almost destroyed me now at my side. And I realized finally that victory wasn't just about power. It was about surviving, about trust, and about navigating the dangerous, intoxicating line between love and war. The boardroom, once a battlefield, was now our arena. And whatever came next, I knew one thing. Elena and I would define it together. Even if we refused to admit it out loud, the throne was mine. But the war for the heart was just beginning.